Hey, what's up? Welcome back. Patrick here from All Things Mathematics. I'm moving on to the next example dealing with statistics. This is a popular one that students have been asking me about from the MyLabs. So here we're told that a company sells 90 different products with distribution of revenues below. What percentage of product had sales less than 34,000? So notice that the x-axis here is represented with sales or revenue in thousands of dollars, and then the y-axis is the number of products. Okay, and as usual, as I've been mentioning in these videos, if you don't want to write all this out, you can go to the website, print out the lecture notes. They're in PDF, so you don't have to waste time in writing this out yourself. If you were watching this on YouTube, you can go to the description box and there's a link that will take you to the course page, to the lecture notes where you can print them out. Okay, so how are we going to do this? Now, sales less than 34,000. Now, notice that the sales are the x-axis, right? So notice that 34,000 is going to be somewhere here because this point here represents 30,000 in sales, and then this point here represents 50, right? And so 34 is going to be somewhere there, let's say. Okay, it's going to be somewhere here. And so we want to know what's going to be the corresponding y value, because the y value represents the number of products up until that revenue. So basically what's happening is, like, for the first 20 products, that's going to make the company $10,000, okay, in sales. And then the 50 products is going to make the company $15,000. And then 70 products is going to make the company $25,000. You keep going up. So they're trying to figure out, for sales of 34,000, what percentage of products of the 90, or how many products of the 90, what's going to be the y value here. Basically, what's happening, to show this in a mathematical perspective, is we're trying to find out what's going to be this y value here, right, at a sales value of 34. And because this is a straight line here, we can do it with proportions. So the way I'm going to show this is, okay, between these 2 points, we're going from 30 to 50,000 in sales, right? That's going to be for the x coordinate. And then the y coordinate, the product, is going from 80 to 90, like that. Okay, and these are dealing with the same proportion. So if the 34 is here, then the y is going to be here. We know that this y value is going to be somewhere between 80 and 90, and we're trying to figure out exactly where it's going to be. Now, because these are in the same proportion, what we can say is we know that the difference between these two, right? So we could say 34 minus 30, okay, which is 4, as a proportion of the total interval, right? As a proportion of 50 minus 30, that proportion, right, this 4 out of this 20 is going to be the same proportion here, y minus 80, right? We just put it in the same format, over this entire interval right here, which is the 90 minus 80, right? The proportions have to be the same right here. And so that's how we could set up an equation to solve for y. Okay, another easy way to think about it is, if you're between 30 and 50, well, we know 40 is going to be right in the middle. Well, 40 would be in line with what's between 80 and 90, 85. Right? So we could say 40 minus 30 over 50 minus 30, which is 20. Notice that that's going to give us a half. That's going to be the same as 85 minus 80 over 90 minus 80 over the entire interval, which is 10, and that's going to be 5 over 10, which is also going to give us a half, right? So basically the proportions are the same. So we're trying to figure out, for this y value, what's these two proportions are going to be the same. So we're trying to figure out what's going to be the y value that's going to make those proportions the same, right? And so we can solve for y like that. So what's this going to be? We're going to end up getting, let's go back to the red color. So this is going to be what? 4 over 20 or 20% is going to be y minus 80 over 10, like that. And so to solve this, what we can do now is cross multiply, right? So 10 times 4, that's going to give us 40, and then we'll have 20 times y minus 80, like that. You could distribute the 20 inside the bracket. I could also divide both sides by 20, so that's going to be what? 2 equals y minus 80. So that means that y is going to be negative 80, bring it over, 2 plus 80 gives us 82, right? So this y value here, if this is going to be in proportion, is going to be 82, like that. So basically, the company is making $34,000 in sales with 82 products, right? So up until this 82 number of products, okay, at 82 products, the company is making $34,000 in sales. That's what we just solved there. But they're asking what percentage of products has sales less than $34,000. So what we would do, well, we know it's going to be the 82 out of the 90, right? Basically, all of those products up until that 82 is going to give us that $34,000 in sales. And then the remaining 8,000, or sorry, the remaining 8 products, right, from 82 to 90 is going to give us from 34 to 50, which is going to be that last 16,000 in sales, right? So that's going to be the percentage right there. And so when you do that calculation, you would get 0.91 or 91%, right? So 91% of the products had sales less than 34,000. Maybe this just said less than or equal to 34,000. But yeah, so 91% of the products, or 82 of the 90 products, gave us that 34,000 in sales, and then that last 8 products from 82 to 90 is going to give us the sales from 34 to 50, going to give us that last 16,000 in sales. Yeah, so that's how you do this question. It's basically just dealing with proportions, right? Kind of like linear interpolation. And yeah, that's it for the question. And that's a wrap for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you want to see more videos like this, please go to my website, allthingsmathematics.com. Over there, all of the videos are organized by chapter, by section. If you feel like you need tutoring at any point, you could also hit me up. My contact details are on the website. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.